A sudden drop in gas mileage, a rotten egg smell drifting into the cabin, and a car that suddenly struggles to accelerate are three signs that seem completely unrelated, but they can all trace back to the exact same failing part hiding underneath the car. The catalytic converter rarely gets attention until it fails, and by then, drivers are often facing a repair bill in the thousands, especially with catalytic converter theft driving replacement costs higher than almost any other exhaust component. Before getting into exactly what to watch for, anyone who's found car content like this useful should go ahead and subscribe, because this channel exists to explain exactly what's going wrong under the hood in plain terms, without the runaround most shops give, and there's a lot more of this coming. The first sign is a noticeable drop in fuel economy. The catalytic converter plays a role in how efficiently exhaust gases flow out of the engine, and when it becomes clogged or damaged internally, the engine has to work harder to push exhaust through, which directly increases fuel consumption, sometimes by 10% or more. The second sign is a rotten egg or sulfur smell coming from the exhaust. Under normal operation, the catalytic converter processes sulfur compounds in a way that shouldn't be noticeable. When it starts failing, that conversion process breaks down, and the raw sulfur escapes through the exhaust system, often strong enough to notice from inside the car with the windows down. The third sign is reduced acceleration, or a feeling that the engine is being held back, especially under hard acceleration or when climbing hills. A clogged catalytic converter restricts exhaust flow so severely that it effectively chokes the engine, similar to trying to breathe through a partially blocked straw. The fourth sign is a rattling noise coming from underneath the car, particularly starting the engine or driving over bumps. Inside the catalytic converter is a ceramic honeycomb structure that can crack or break apart over time. Once it does, loose pieces rattle around inside the metal housing, creating a distinct sound that gets worse as more material breaks free. The fifth sign is the check engine light illuminating, often paired with a specific diagnostic code related to catalyst efficiency. This code appears when the oxygen sensors positioned before and after the converter detect that it's no longer processing exhaust gases the way it should, which is one of the clearest and most reliable indicators of converter failure. The sixth sign is the car failing an emissions test outright. In areas that require regular emissions testing, a failing catalytic converter is one of the single most common reasons for failure, since its entire job is reducing harmful emissions before they leave the exhaust system. For anyone dealing with these symptoms and needing to get to a garage safely, a few things are worth knowing. First, if the car is running extremely rough, stalling, or showing very poor power, it's best to avoid highway driving and stick to lower speeds and shorter distances, since a severely clogged converter can cause the engine to overheat under sustained load. Second, if a rattling noise is present, having the car towed rather than driven is the safer choice, since continuing to drive can cause the broken ceramic material to shift further and potentially clog the exhaust system completely, leading to a stalled engine. Third, checking the specific check engine code with a basic code reader, which can be borrowed for free at many auto parts stores, tells whether the issue is truly the catalytic converter or an upstream problem like a failing oxygen sensor or a misfire that's damaging the converter as a secondary effect. This matters because roughly half of all catalytic converter failures are actually caused by something else going wrong first. That leads directly into prevention. The most common root cause of catalytic converter failure isn't age, it's an underlying engine problem that goes unaddressed. A persistent misfire, a failing oxygen sensor, or an engine burning oil all send unburned fuel or contaminants into the converter, overheating and damaging it from the inside. Fixing minor engine issues promptly rather than ignoring a check engine light for months is by far the most effective way to protect a catalytic converter from premature failure. Regular oil changes also matter here, since burning oil is one of the sneakier causes of internal converter damage. For those in areas with high catalytic converter theft rates, installing an inexpensive protective shield or having the converter etched with a visible identification number can reduce both the risk of theft and the resale value to thieves. Replacing a catalytic converter typically ranges from $900 to $2,500, depending on the vehicle, making it one of the more expensive exhaust repairs a driver can face.
Catching the early signs, understanding what's safe to do before reaching a shop, and addressing the root engine issues that damage converters in the first place can be the difference between an $800 preventable repair and a much larger one. For more videos that break down exactly what's going wrong with your car and what to actually do about it, subscribing means catching every one as soon as it's posted.